G'day guys, Duckville here. Welcome to another commentary that we are going to have a look at from the Korea server again. This one got emailed to me, and as everybody knows, I am a fan of unorthodox style plays. If you ever see me on the ladder, either on US or on C, but usually on C now, you'll probably see me do something unorthodox, really stupid. I'll probably lose, but that's the way I roll. So this one got emailed to me, and it is the actual title of the email. There was no text. Whoever sent it to me, thanks for the description. It was pretty much titled Crazy. So I am hoping this is going to be a bit of an interesting one. I have heard on the forums that some people were talking about this particular replay, and it did feature some interesting play. And obviously the two players we've got here, it is a Zerg versus Terran, and we do have the Zerg player here, the Wind, oGsTheWind, on the famous oGs team in Korea, which, as it happens today, recently announced that they actually have Nada on their team now. Nada has joined the team oGs as a player for the GSL Season 2, so well done for oGs there, grabbing one of the all-time greats of the Brood War scene. And his opponent today on Lost Temple will be Terran, who I think we did a cast with Terran in it a little while ago, so we know this guy is pretty good, and he is definitely a very nice Terran player, along with being very good at creating names. So so we've got Lost Temple here, as I said. We're sort of cross spots on the map, probably the I'm not sure if it's the longest distance, but yeah, it pretty much is. And we are going to see an early expand from the Wind here. He's just going to take this one while the spawning pool's building. Is a very common build now to grab the spawning pool and your hatch at the same time. A lot of people still go with spawning pool and extractor into expansion, but it sort of depends on how you're going to play. And obviously on Lost Temple being a 4 base sort of map in terms of the mains, the chances of you having your opponent a little bit of a distance away is actually a lot better than things such as Steps of War or any of those other 2-player maps. So we haven't seen anything too dramatic at the moment. Terran's grabbing a factory on his front door. He's going to grab that on the ramp just in case of a baneling bust, I would assume. And we've got an SCV running through the base here. That one's just going to run past that queen and says, "Get the hell out, lady, I'm coming through." He's going to see that a roach warren is going up for the Wind, and he's obviously seen that the hatchery is down at the natural, so he's going to see a little bit of what's happening here. And we are going to have an overlord, probably just going to have a poke in, see what's happening at the front door of Terran. But Terran's doing a nice job with a couple of Marines here, just keeping them around. Obviously he knows that Wind is going to try and actually move out and see what is happening there, so he's going to keep those Marines mobile, which is a great little tactic to do. We've got the 1-1-1 going here for Terran. In fact, it's going to be the 1-1-2 actually. He's going to grab 2 starports here. It's going to be quite heavy on air units, obviously, perhaps some Banshee or heavy sort of Viking play. We'll see what happens. A couple of roaches out for the Wind, and he's got a couple of queens here to defend. There is one Hellion coming in to take a peek, but he's not going to get too far with these particular units standing here defending the ramps and whatnot. A couple more units coming in. These Marines are just going to come in and have a little poke just to see what they can size up from the Zerg forces, but obviously there's a lot of units here that will easily be able to defend that particular poke. So we've actually got 2 tech labs going down for Terran. Looks as if he's not going to do anything with the factory or the rack, so he's obviously going to be very well defended against any baneling busts, but obviously considering he saw that there was no baneling nest, he's not going to need to worry about that too much. So we've got a Ling coming up here just to have a look and see what he can see in here. He's going to see the 2 starports up with the tech labs, and he's going to have a little shot at the factory, but that Ling is going to go down. Sorry, son, you were just not good enough there, but we still not really sure what... Oh, I see. Terran's going to be doing this very interesting Raven build, which we saw on another cast that I did a little while ago, featuring Green Pine, I believe it was, with a very heavy Raven build, with Ravens just flying around the map, just wreaking absolute havoc with the auto turrets, and obviously the point defense drones providing defense for the auto turrets, which was a really good combo, turned out. As we saw in that Terran versus Terran. So this time we'll actually see it in a Terran versus Zerg. Perhaps this might work a little bit differently, because as we saw in that previous replay, if you haven't actually seen it, go and have a look. It is an absolutely really awesome replay to watch. There were some problems with the opposing Terran to Green Pine, but he could have done some things differently. But Green Pine just had an absolute massive Ravens. We've got a really nice positioning here from the Wind. He's got the Spine Crawler on the side of the natural here, just covering this high ground, because obviously, as many Zergs would know by now, if you can actually get a Thor or a Siege tank up here, they can just destroy the hatchery with no trouble. And as we saw a lot in the GSL, a lot of players would just plonk a Thor up there, and it would just take it out, and you could do nothing about it. So Wind's done a great job actually being prepared for that with the Spine Crawler, putting it here against the ledge, and with an Overlord to spot the high ground as well. So nice little tactic there by the Wind, and it looks as if we're going to have a little harass here with the 3 first Ravens that came out and Medevac. So we are probably going to see a little bit of auto turret, and I assume there are some Marines in there. Yeah, just the Marines in the Medevac just at the moment. The Medevac's going to come in here. It's going to make the drop, and he's going to see that there are only some Queens to defend here. A couple of turrets go up. We've got 4 or 5 turrets going down, and as we saw from the previous games, turrets actually do a lot of damage if you let them go, because they just absolutely tear through everything. 8 damage with a weapon speed of 0.8, so they are quite fast. Got to be careful with those Ravens, though, because the Ravens obviously do cost a lot, and if you let them go down for pretty much nothing, then they have absolutely been a massive waste there. But he's doing some great harass here, great transfusion by the Wind, doing some nice micro there, taking out the turrets. I don't think he lost too much. There was probably a couple of drone losses and maybe a lot of Zergling losses, but that was about it. And as we can see, Terran's moved his factory down here to the natural. He's taken the natural here, given that he had the cover of the harass there with the Ravens and the Medevac. And he is going to take this one and obviously get that gas income pumping, because as I experienced when I gave this little strategy a shot, the gas income is absolutely critical to this particular build. As you can see, the Ravens require 200 gas, so 200 per Raven, and effectively you can't really build too much else in terms of defense, so you really need to stick with the Ravens and make sure you get out a lot of them. And pretty much, as we can see from what Terran's doing here, just stick with Marines and sort of those really low tier units that don't take too much gas, because you just cannot waste the gas on anything else other than the Ravens, otherwise the strategy does not work. So Wind's going to try and counter this a little bit. He's got a Spore Crawler here in the middle of the mineral line there, which is going to help out a little bit, but effectively once the auto turrets go down, the Spore Crawler is going to be absolutely useless. He does have a couple of Mutalisks out on the map. He's going to try and do a little bit of harass, I would assume, going into the mineral line of Terran, but these Mutalisks are taking a lunch break there, camping out at the 3 o'clock position. And we've got some great saturation here. He's doing a great job keeping the SCVs pumping. And we have a group of 5 Ravens just at the moment. I suppose you could call them a fleet of Ravens, just at the moment. And we've got a second hatchery, in-base hatchery, going down for the Wind. And he's also taking this gold expansion, which is really going to pump up his income, which is really going to help him out, because he's going to need it, given the effect that the Ravens can have when they are flying around the map, just putting down turrets everywhere. As we can see here, some more turrets do go down, and they are going to focus on all of these units here. Some more are just getting plopped down here. One thing to note is that getting the turret upgrades is a really good assist to these particular strategies where you're going these mass Ravens, because if you get your turrets up and you actually get the what's it called, durable materials, and they actually last a lot longer and they could do a lot more damage in that respect. He has actually destroyed the lair here, which was a great little capture by Terran, and he's doing a great job harassing with those ravens.